joining us on the 7th episode of The Female Fist. I have a wonderful guest with us today. We have a great resume for her. In 2018, she was the silver medalist at the Canadian Championships. 2017, leading up to the Canadian Championships, she was the Brampton Cup champion, the Bronze Gloves champion, Esker Cup champion in Ireland, Imperium Cup champion in Quebec. Like, damn, this girl was just all over the place that year. She was just hitting all the hallmarks. So please welcome Justine Honsinger. Did I say that right?
Honsinger. Really close.
Honsinger. Okay, sorry. Please welcome Justine
Okay.
Honsinger. How you doing, Justine?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well. So Justine here, her and I used to be teammates during our competitive years. We've had a couple fights together. We've cheered each other on. We've traveled to Ireland for the Esker Cup championship together. So it's really nice to reconnect with you and share this with you. I haven't seen you for a little bit. I haven't seen you
Yeah.
in the So,
Yeah.
I know what was going on. Can you let everybody else know?
Yeah. Since I went to nationals in 2018, my first national I went to where I got my silver medal. It was a lot for me leading up. So that, like you said, in 2017, I was just busy.
Yes.
So in 2018, I went to nationals. I also graduated from college. So now I'm a social service worker in Sarnia.
Great.
And we also decided, me and Nolan, that we wanted to have another little one. So that's when I took a step back from boxing, and now we have our little Regan, and now just getting back into the swing of things now.
I've seen tons of pictures of her. She's a beautiful little girl, and we congratulate both you and Nolan, who, to as I remember as well, as a competitor himself. So now I've been seeing you're kind of like posting a lot of workout videos. You're, getting your groove on. I see a lot of fitness postings and whatnot. So to my understanding, you want to come back into the sport.
Yes. So I have been doing a lot of working on myself, especially during the pandemic. I think it's really important. And in doing so, I definitely found my confidence in boxing again and definitely want to give it another crack at it, I think. Right now, my heart is really with coaching. So if things align and I end up getting back into the ring, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how the cards fall in place. Everything always
Right.
works out. And,
Yeah.
boxing, everybody, when we talk about boxing, it's always like it's a strong passion for a lot of people. Well, obviously, right? It takes a lot just to step in that ring, just to even show up in the
Exactly.
venue is such a journey itself.
Yeah.
So, for you, where did that
Mhm.
journey begin? Where were you like, okay, this is a sport that I want to do? Because I understand that you and I both have a very similar background.
Yes. So I first started wrestling when I was in high school. That definitely brought out like my more competitive, passionate athlete.
Yeah.
And I realized how much I liked independent sports, although it is a team sport, just having confidence in yourself and knowing that if you work hard and dedicate your time, that it will pay off in the end. So I think that just transferred over when I went into a boxing gym. It was like, oh wow, I could throw hands. This is fun. This is fun. And that's when I met Chuck Evans. So he's also Nolan's dad. So it's just a family affair.
Yeah.
And he was a 9-time national champion. And he just saw something in me, and he met with my parents, and he was let me know if I wanted to take it serious. It's definitely something that we could start doing. And I was just like, wow, like he thinks I'm good. So from there, it just kicked off. I had a little setback. I did have my daughter in between there. So I did have her when I was younger. So after having Maya is when I started again. And then
Yeah.
that's where we came to the journey of the national championships in 2018.
And that's amazing. Like, I mean, I remember Maya taking all of those like pictures with you. She's like your number one supporter. I bet that's
Yeah.
the coolest thing for her to go to these shows and be like, my mommy's fighting and my
Yeah.
dad. Like,
Yeah.
that's a pretty
Yeah.
great environment to build for a kid.
It is really awesome. And everyone always says, her confidence. She's a little firecracker. And She doesn't see girls in sport less than. It's something that was just always engraved in her, that we are equal. And she has such amazing support around her. Her grandpa was all for female athletes. So it's just amazing. She has such an amazing support group around her.
It's a great foundation because she's never going to have this idea in her head like, oh, can I do that? Or, having to
Yeah.
question that. It's already been normalized to her because she's like,
Yeah.
nobody can say anything to her because she'll say, like, my mom did it and my dad did it. Like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
that's the greatest thing that you give. That's the best gift that you probably will ever give her is that inner confidence, knowing that she could do whatever she wants. And that's
Yeah.
beautiful. So,
Yeah.
like, you started it. How old were you when you first stepped into the boxing gym?
So when I first met Chuck at Lansing St. Clair, I was 16. And then I did 1 year of training with him. And then that's when I had Maya. So at 17, I found out I was going to have Maya very young. So she came when I was 18. And then so she came in 2012. I finished wrestling. After I had Maya, I still continued wrestling as well as finishing my last year of high school. So I got to finish up my last wrestling season. And then it was 2013, I started to get back into the boxing ring. And then 2015, I actually switched over to the Blue Water Boxing Club. And that's when my career really started to kick off.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember because, like we were talking about, 2017, everybody was buzzing. Like you were all over the place, and it was great to even see
Yeah.
because especially just more
Yeah.
opportunities for us. Because even the first year, like, because we're the same age, I believe, right? Like you're 26
Yeah.
this year. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, turning 27. So I'm 1 year older, I think.
Okay, well, whatever. We're around the same age.
Downtown.
Because there's like a lot more tournaments opening up nowadays for females. Because when we first started, they were so limited. And even
Yeah.
like, when I talked to Mandy or when I talked to even Caitlin, because she had a head start, a lot of
Yeah.
stuff was like even separate rings. Like this ring was specifically for
Yeah.
females, this ring was for men. There's been so much progress in such a short amount of
Yeah.
time that the opportunities for us are just endless. So
Yeah.
I think that that's a great idea. Not idea. I think that's a
Mhm.
great thing that you're doing right now is to get yourself back, just involved
Mhm.
with the sport and then potentially competing again. That's amazing. Good for
Thank
you.
you.
I love
Thank
hearing that. So
you.
what have you been doing like during with COVID and stuff like that? How has that been um managing? Because like I said, I saw your posts. You've been back in
Mhm.
the fitness and you've
Mhm.
been doing the boxing. So how has that been for you during this time?
So it's actually been a saving grace, especially just coming off having Regan. So it was a lot just having Regan and then boom, lockdown. Gyms are kind of my home. So it was definitely different to try and alter that mindset for a bit. I just wasn't working out. The gyms weren't open. I wasn't in a really good place. And then I don't know, I just started to do little bits at a time. My confidence came back. Um, and then when gyms were able to open again, I was at the point where I was ready to come back and I started doing some coaching stuff. So that's when I got really intrigued more with coaching. And we did some programs in our community for the Native Friendship Center with our youth here. So that was amazing to be able to pass on my knowledge to them. And
Absolutely.
then just working with, I'm a social worker in Sarnia, so I work at the Women's Interval Home. So we're working on creating like a Zoom class I will be doing for a program for the women at the shelter to, it's called Get Moving. So I will be doing a boxing segment for the women at the shelter. And with the pandemic and the rise in domestic violence, it's just, how could I not pass on my knowledge and, the strength and confidence of boxing to our community? So
Of course, that's beautiful. That's a wonderful thing that you're doing. You're bringing something that's so valuable to people, that inner strength, to people that really are craving something right now. That's
yeah,
awesome. Good for
thank
you.
you.
So you've already started this.
Yes,
That's
yes.
awesome. What's it called again?
It's called the program's called Get Moving. It's through the Women's Interval Home here in Sarnia. So it's just a class that they put out for pretty much anyone, and that wants to be involved with it. You don't have to be staying in shelter, but it's to build confidence and different nutrition tricks like that, coping strategies. So
Well, that's great. So now that you have this Get Moving, I suppose that when everything starts to open up, would you be bringing those classes to your gym kind of thing? Or like going
um,
to some shelters?
yeah, so right now everything is of course virtual.
Like,
So it's just in the my first time doing it with the shelter, but we have discussed hopefully in the future, even with some of the youth that stay at the shelter or not in shelter who just want to come work out with us, that we'd be able to do it more in the boxing club so they can actually come and check it out, different environments, and hit the bags and all that fun stuff.
yeah, of course, just to be there, right? Just to be out of
Yeah,
the house or just out
it's
of their
empowering.
space. Absolutely. That's really exciting. So this is like so this is something that is basically you're gearing more towards like to invest more your time into, and then you want to as well coach, right? Like competitors
Yeah,
and whatnot. That's great.
yeah.
Do you have like a plan for, I mean, it's hard to have a plan right now with the uncertainty revolving around. But I mean, okay, so let's just say hypothetically, okay, gyms open up completely at full capacity in the next 3 months. Okay, just throwing it out there, 3 months.
Mhm.
You have this opportunity now where you can do things inside the gym, you can do things at the shelter, you can go and coach people now at competitions. Where do you see yourself starting and where do you like plan a goal from that point?
I definitely see myself focusing on our youth at the Blue Water Boxing Club. My daughter's just 9 years old now, and she's getting like gaining more of an interest in competing. Finally, before she just would come for fun. So it's so exciting to see the future generation of females getting exciting about boxing. So my heart is always with the youth of our community and develop the future generation of athletes. So and then obviously in doing so, I'm sure I will be doing workouts with them. And I love working with the woman at the Blue Water Boxing Club too. We have Nicole there. She's awesome. I love helping her anytime I can. So pretty much just passing on my knowledge. That's so important.
Absolutely. And the key word that you said was future generations because
Yes.
they are our future. They are the product that we're giving them all that stuff right now. That's great. So like if that's the case, right, you're going to be spending a lot of this time coaching and investing and probably spending a lot of time with Maya if she really wants to like take this to the next step. Do you see yourself doing, let's say, like about here, about there, maybe entering a tournament again?
It would definitely be based on my fitness level. I'm definitely in just in the midst of balancing my life and family and boxing and my career.
Yeah,
As you know, I'm just with boxing. A lot of us in boxing, it's 1,000 or nothing usually. Yeah.
exactly.
So for me, finding the balance right now is the most important, and whether I fight or not is kind of on the back burner.
Got you. Got you. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens when it
Yeah.
happens, kind of thing.
But I'm a little bit obsessed, so I'm sure something.
It's like they say, right? When the gloves come on, they never come off. It's there
Yeah.
for life. It's inbred in our hearts. And I understand that completely. So, okay, that's amazing. And now you have these two little ones. You've got this wonderful, like, group going on called Get Moving, right? Or
Yeah.
sorry, Get Moving,
Yeah.
yes. And now you have this whole plan working in the gyms, you're balancing family life. This is like incredible. And it's a lot of responsibility on one young, beautiful girl. So how are you like managing this? How are you organizing like a busy mom and athlete?
Yeah. So I definitely take a lot of time. I take a lot of time for myself. I think that's really important. I'm fortunate enough during these times that I am just working part time. So I get to be home with my girls during the week. And because boxing to me is a family affair, of course, I don't feel like I'm missing out when I am at the gym with
Right.
them. So Maya's always welcome to come with us, and then Regan will visit with her grandma. So it's just perfect. Right
Yeah.
now, it's a perfect balance. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a blessing, right? Thank God that you have that dynamic. Because imagine having to juggle this if it was so separate, so divided. You know,
Yes,
that would
yes.
be so difficult. But
Yeah.
like you seem to have like a great game plan and you seem to really have a lot of support around you.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
That's amazing. And now like these girls that you see that you're doing this program with, do you find that they're taking that time to kind of share with you like how boxing is impacting their mental health during the COVID era? Because I know that with COVID, it's getting hard on everybody. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of
Mhm.
rise in domestic violence. There's a lot of
Mhm.
mental illnesses on the rise just because of the isolation, lack of support, or so many
Mhm.
things are going on, right? So have you noticed a change with like bringing boxing to these girls' lives?
So I actually haven't done the first class yet, so I actually
Okay.
haven't had any feedback on it yet. So we're just March 9th will be the first group that I actually run
Okay.
with that. But for our we did a youth group with the Friendship Center, the Native Friendship Center here in Sarnia, and it was awesome during the pandemic. When we did open, we were able to have 10 social distance with masks, all that fun stuff, but just being able to have those kids go up there, like their parents were messaging me, just saying like their kids were so interested in it, and it took their mind off of the fact that they were in a pandemic. They were working out at home, shadow boxing at home. So it just brings a light to such a dark time.
Yeah.
And I just think like a gym is something that a lot of us just need, even if you don't know you need it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like, to give them like some kind of something to look forward to as well. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Because we don't really need equipment, really. That's the beauty about boxing.
right.
Really need
Yes.
equipment. Yeah, which is
Yeah, that's what's so amazing about it. It's so basic, but so challenging at the same time.
yeah. Well, do you have like any other updates that you'd like to share with everybody?
Um, I can't really think of any really updates for myself. Mostly just that our gyms are open again, and we're just hoping to get our athletes in there and training, and hoping that
Yeah.
we can get them competing anytime soon. So
Yes.
that's pretty much it for us.
Yeah, I get it. Like it's so uncertain right now. It's everything is everybody doesn't know. We talk to everybody in the boxing community like, "Oh, we're getting excited for this," right? It's like, "Yeah, but we'll
Yeah.
see." That seems to be
Right.
common
Don't want to
theme.
hold our breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
We
even
just keep telling our athletes that the most important thing that we keep telling the kids is how you take the time and train now is what's going to make a difference in the future. If you have a heart of a warrior, that you will shine no matter what.
exactly, that's a golden line to say to them. I bet they love that. That's so true too. That's a beautiful. So, like, as well, even with this whole COVID thing going on, we're all uncertain, where we're hoping to have some, you know, activity going on in the boxing community, hopefully
Mhm.
like a nationals or something like that. To my understanding, they're supposed to have a nationals. Like, I think they have to, like, based on the not this upcoming Olympic year, but the following Olympic year or something like
Mhm.
that. And you said that you have like your little one, right? That she's thinking about competing. So let's
Yeah.
say things open up like, by the end of the year or something. Would you want her
Yeah.
to jump in? Like, what do you think about that? Her being so young?
Yeah, definitely. So she's just at the point right now, like gaining more confidence, and we're hoping to have her obviously being able to actually spar. So first we have to hopefully, they're still so little, so we don't want them to be too nervous. But thankfully she is so young, and the safety procedures that, Boxing Ontario, Boxing Canada have for our youth. That I'm pretty confident she could probably get right in there.
That's awesome. Yeah, because they have a great program for the youth. It's true. And I think
Yeah.
that they really take care of the little ones. I'm not gonna lie, I get so like when I see the
Yeah.
kids they're like, they're so small and like their little heads, like,
Yeah.
not my favorite thing to watch. I won't sit there because I get upset. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine as a mom. Kudos to you.
Yeah. You definitely have to take your mom hat off for the time being.
Yeah, yeah, because even like,
Yeah.
I mean, your dad, right? When your dad watches you, okay, I remember I met your dad when you guys came down to Mississauga. Such a great guy. Like, I actually miss your dad because he was really nice. He was
Oh, he
really
just
nice.
loved watching everyone and
Yeah,
oh,
and he's just a good time there. He sits there, smiles. He encourages everybody. So nice.
yeah.
Positivity just right there. But
Yeah.
like even, I couldn't imagine what he went through when he saw you first wrestle when you were young
Yeah.
and then like watching you go in the ring to get
Yeah.
hit, like how did he handle that as a parent?
He's actually so amazing because most people were afraid he's the one that's like, no, like you get in there. Everyone always laughed. My dad would always get kicked off the wrestling mats because he'd be screaming at me to, you better not be giving up those points. So my dad learned from an early stage that he could not be a coach to me. He definitely would get kicked out of the ring. So often I could hear him in the background. I'm just like, oh no, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, you got one fight in the ring and then you gotta have another fight once you get out of the ring.
But
Yeah.
he definitely had no fear. He had no fear. I think he wanted me to get punched sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll see you later when you go fight. Then we'll talk about I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I just figured, like my dad, he's always been like when he's there in the ring, I guess because he's been coaching people in boxing, he can easily kind of like take it off. But
Yeah.
my first match, my dad was kind of like, okay, like, okay. I didn't really hear him. He wasn't really that loud. He was just like, I guess in coach mode. I said, that's great. That's awesome. But I figure it's because he's a dad. I think that
Yeah.
like as a mom, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, do you
It
have
would
a game plan
definitely.
for
I
that?
don't. I'm just gonna hope for the best. I do know that she has her coach Tom and her Papa Chuck's a coach there too. So if it comes down to it, I just will not go. Yeah.
Aw.
I just
You
if
will
that's what she wants, then I'll just have to suck it up.
Well, I think that that's great that your daughter now wants to go and like, you're fully supporting like, yeah, she's 9, she's 10,
Mhm.
she wants to do it. I'm going to get her ready to do it. That's great.
Yeah,
Well,
perfect. Yeah.
this is amazing, and I'm really happy to hear about this Get Moving movement that you're doing for like because you're a social worker, as you told me, yes?
Yes. So I'm a social service worker and I'm a domestic violence case worker with our women's shelter, the Women's Interval Home here in Sarnia. So I'm looking to do more collaboration with them, involving our boxing club for specifically women and young girls.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. You're doing great things and you're really using the gift that you have with boxing for great opportunities. And I'm sure a lot of women look up to you. I look up to you for doing something
Yeah.
because you give a
Sweet.
lot
Thank
of girls hope that are in really, really, really hard situations. And that is
you.
life changing for a lot of women.
Yeah.
So honestly,
It
medal of that, like medal of honor for you. Good for you. Thank
is.
you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that with us. Do you have anything else
No
you want to
problem.
tell everybody?
No, I just hope to see everyone soon. I'm so excited just to see everyone. I want to see you all compete and kick some butt. So.
Trust me, I'll be really happy when we can finally all get together again. Really hoping for that day soon.
Right, yeah, me
Well,
too.
thank you so much. Can you put your fists up for me? Awesome. Thank you, Justine. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody, for joining us. Stay tuned for next week episode of The Female Fist.